is a young prophet. He is a prophet. God has anointed him to be a prophet. He says, I'm going to send you over there to give a word. But when you give the word, I don't want you to tarry. I want you to make your way back quick. The young prophet got over there, and he gave the word that God had given him to give because he was a prophet. I need y'all to get that. He was a prophet, following the directions of the Lord. When he gave the word, there was another prophet, older, gentle. And one of his people went back and said, there is a prophet in town. He sent word back. He said, go and tell him that I said he should come to me and eat. Went back, he said, my master, he's a prophet. And he honors you as a prophet. He says that you should come and eat. The young prophet said, go back and tell your master that God has given me direction. And I am to leave this place and not tarry. Now, the older man was a prophet. The younger man is a prophet. The older man comes and says, listen, I'm a prophet too. And I say that you should stay and eat. Here is the folly in that. That's so good. There will always be someone that wants to speak into your life that is not the leader that God has placed. The young man had direct directions from God. But he went home with the older prophet and he ate. And the day got long. He said, I must be on my way. And he left. And on the way back, he met a lion. And the lion, the Bible says, ate him to his very bones. He was a prophet. He was a prophet. I was talking to the young lady yesterday, and she said, Pastor Smith, you spoke some things into my life. You said, God said. I said, tell me what I said. Because you know I never remember what I said. I said, tell me what I said. And she said, you said that God was going to bless me. He was going to bless me with an apartment, and that he was going to send somebody my way to give me a job, and I shouldn't move. And I said, and what else did God say? And she said, I don't understand. I said, what else did God say? I said, let me tell you about my Savior. He will tell you some good stuff, but he will give you stipulations. So what else did I say? Was that all that I said? And she said, no, you said that my soul I would prosper, even as my soul prospers. I said, baby, that's your problem. And she said, what? I said, your soul ain't prospering. You don't have to come to restoration. You don't have to go to Whoso. But you've been out the will of God. You haven't stepped back, foot back in church since you got that word. And now you are trying to hold God to his word. But God gave you direction. He gave you direction. gonna say the person's name. And she told me that when God says something, it's always gonna come back around again. I said, you see what happens when you listen to people that don't know Bible? There's a bunch of things that could happen. You could find yourself outside the will of God and destroyed. And destroyed. And it is not God's fault. When I was 12 years old, I said, God, if you save me, I was dying. I was dying. But if you save me, all of the rest of the days of my life, I will serve you. He said, remember your promise. I could have done so many things. I could have walked away so many times. When things did not work out the way that I thought they should, because Dad meant it, I'm a king's kid. And things should not be going this way. And I could have gone another way. But God would remind me of my promise. We get saved. On the Sunday we get saved. We are overwhelmed. We are so committed on that day. On that day we make promises to God. We say, I'm going to do this thing God's way. We say, wherever he sends me, I'll go. We say, if he tells me not to move, I won't move. And then life happens. Life happens. Let me help you. I was going to change the message because the young lady didn't come. But God said, you're going to talk about what I told you to talk about. I don't know who it's for. But I'm telling you, you better be slow to move. And you better follow the directions that God gave. Because he gave directions for a reason. Because he knew there would be an older prophet. He knew that. Help me. Every service we go to, somebody wants to speak into our lives. Is that the truth? Everybody got to work. I'm saying, God, when did everybody become the prophet? It is like every evangelist, after they preach, they got to prophesy. They got to tell you what God said. Everybody don't have that gift. You hear me what I say? The older prophet was in his flesh. There were certain reasons why the older prophet was in his flesh. Why? Because he sent a young man to the town where he was prophet. And God didn't talk to him. You got to understand that when people give you direction, their direction is not always to lift you up. Sometimes it's to try to figure out what God is doing in your life. And let me help you with that. It is none of their business what God is doing, because God is doing it. When God puts you under leadership, she said, Pastor. I said, don't call me pastor. You cannot call me pastor. You haven't been in the church in months. I'm talking about somebody else, okay? You haven't been in the church in months. You haven't been in the church. You can't call me pastor. You call me pastor because it's familiar to you. Who do you follow? You cannot serve two masters. You're going to love one and hate the other, but you can't serve two. She said, but I went back, and I'm not going to say the place she was. If I say the place, y'all don't know who she is. I said, did God send you there? Did God tell you to go over there? Where did God send you? He sent me to Restoration Ministry. Really? You know, if God had told them, come to whoso. I can't be a nosy, y'all. I'm going to be honest. Being nosy, I wanted to see. And God said, okay, so you need to sit here for it. And I was like, what? Not this minute.